is my pleasure to have a debate with you today about the Commission Work Programme, which of course is placed in a much wider framework of a discussion we need to have, because this is the last Commission Work Programme with concrete plans for legislation. Why? Because we only have a year and a half left in the mandate of this Commission and this European Parliament. If we want legislation to be adopted still in this mandate, we will have to submit that legislation, the draft legislation, to the European Parliament and the Council by, let's say, May this year at the latest, if we really want things still to lead to concrete conclusions. And it is my firm belief that in 2019, when there are European elections, we will only get people interested in those elections and people take the trouble to go and vote in these elections if they see concrete results. The quality of our proposals will not convince, only the quality of the results we deliver working for the European citizens. And we do this in arguably one of the most complicated times. We've just come out of what was the worst crisis, this continent, economic crisis, this continent has faced since the 1930s. It is also a time of great turmoil, both in terms of security, but also in terms of the organization of our society. We are at the beginning of the fourth industrial revolution, and there is not a single citizen in Europe, there's not a single citizen in the whole world that will not be affected by these paradigm changes in the way we live, in the way we work, in the way we relate to others. So if we want to be effective with policies we need to ward off the risks of this development and to grasp the opportunities of this development, we need to be in touch with the dreams, anxieties, wishes, hopes of our citizens. And we cannot do this if we do it from Brussels alone. If we want to be successful in implementing things we need to implement, we absolutely need to be fully engaged with people in their villages, in their cities, in their towns, in the regions they live in, and therefore we need to be fully engaged with you. Without that, we will not be successful. I will give you one very concrete example. As you know, the Commission has put forward a number of proposals to shift our economic model towards a more sustainable model based on a circular economy. We've put forward ideas on the circular economy, on how we treat waste, what we need to do with plastic, what the social pillar should look like in those circumstances. These things affect every individual citizen, and we can't just say we do this at the European level, send the decisions to the member states, and then everything will happen by itself. Waste, you cannot have a waste policy that works if you are not fully engaged with local authorities. They are the ones responsible for that. And if you don't have a waste policy that works, you will not have a circular economy. And if you don't have a circular economy, you will not be able to grasp the opportunities the world will have to offer in the fourth industrial revolution. So the challenges we will be facing in the next coming years will, first of all, be what is our answer to the anxieties people feel, the fundamental feeling of insecurity because of the international security situation, but also because of the changing of the challenges globalization is throwing at us. Secondly, what is a sustainable answer to the challenge of migration? Is it just building higher fences or borders, or do we have slightly more sophisticated answers to a problem that will not go away by itself and will certainly not go away only by building walls and fences? Thirdly, do we have answer to the challenge of what I would say tribalism and nationalism? Do we provide security that goes beyond the simple answer, if I can keep the other out, I will be safe, which is an answer that might work in the short term, but will certainly not work in the long term. But the most fundamental question we need to answer is, what do we have to offer so that people no longer stand with their backs to the future and look at a past that never was for a source of solutions that will never be? So I put it before you that we have to find common solutions for problems that can no longer be addressed only at the national or European level, but need all levels to be engaged. In this framework, the task force we have started at the Commission that should be able to write a report by July has to look at mainly three things. The procedures we have in place today to look at subsidiarity and proportionality, are they working, or are they working well enough? What can we do to improve that, to make sure that we don't make mistakes, to make sure we concentrate on what is big and important and we get rid of what is no longer or is not big and important? Secondly, what are the areas where Europe should perhaps do less and leave more to local, regional or national authorities? What could be areas where Europe should be doing more because local or regional or national authorities can no longer handle the issue on their own? And thirdly, very importantly, how do we structurally engage local and regional authorities in our process of lawmaking and of law implementation? How do we make sure we have this constant dialogue so that experiences are fed into the system, mistakes are taken out of the system, and that you all feel part of the system when we devise legislation and implement legislation?